Okay, we'll give full name. Okay, full underscore name we will give. Now, which one is our variable name? Tell me, what is my variable name now? Is it name? Is the variable name is name or full name? Okay, fine. Here also we will give the same argument. There is one attribute called as name, okay, which defines a variable. Okay, this name attribute will define a variable to store whatever the thing you type in this input tag, in this input field. Okay, here I will say age. Now you tell me which one is my variable name here or among these both. Which one will be my variable name? It is going to show. Yes, it is going to show me age as my variable name. Shall we check it? Shall we check? Now we have defined one variable for taking full name, that in only input field we can take. Okay, only for input tag we can write this name. Okay, and here also name equal to age. Let me just reload it first. Okay, I reloaded. Fine. I will pass here. Now let us say Abhishek. Abhishek and age. Let's say 20. Okay. If I submit, now you guys tell me what you will see here. If I submit, what am I getting? Don't just throw up. Yes, correct. Hmm. Let me just submit it. Okay. What am I getting? I'm getting one question mark. After that, I'm getting full name equal to Abhishek and age equal to 20. There is no space in between. And for the text, it will not show you the quotes here. Okay? Because it is a URL. It is some kind of route. So it is not going to show you any quotes. Okay? Understood? Forget about this question mark. Okay? You can consider this question mark as the separator only. Okay? Don't worry about this for question mark, it will be there only. Okay, this is your actual route. Don't forget, this up till info is your actual route. After that, whatever you are doing, let's say if you are searching something or something else, that time it is going to give you this. Now here is the main topic, that whenever we are submitting something, okay, whenever we are submitting something to the backend, we have different types of requests. Okay, we have different type of requests. We have something called as get request, we have something called as post request, we have something called as delete request, put request, patch request, and many more. Okay, the important ones here are get request and post request. And I will tell you the difference also. See, whenever you are using get request, you are going to get something like this, some data like this. Okay. And get request is not really safe. Okay. Are you understanding that get request is not really safe? Why? You tell me why it is not safe. Because whatever the data you are submitting, you can see here, correct? The data you are submitting it, correct? Yes or no? The data you are submitting. Yes, this data has to be very much secured. Okay. So what I'm doing is, we have, all of you have seen one login form, correct? Whenever you log in, it asks you for your username and password, correct? That we are going to create here. Okay. Password. Put a password. And see, type of this, we have one type called as password itself. Okay. In input tag, we have different types of fields. Okay. We have number field, we have text field, we have password field, we have email field, and many more fields are there. Okay, which we will see as we required. Okay. Now I hope all of you are following what I'm trying to do here. And this name equal to age, right? I will make it password itself. Okay. Now what will happen, guys? What type of request we are using now? This is what type of request. If you can see your data in the URL, that means it is a GET request, correct? The method here which is used with not request, the method. Okay. The request method is GET method, correct? This is called as GET method. Okay. There's different types of request, different methods of request. Now this form by default uses a GET request or a GET method. Okay. The form by default uses GET method or a request, you can say. All of you understanding? Just this is just for a fact. Okay, that forms, whenever you do not specify anything, you don't specify any method, at that time forms are going to take by default get method. And whenever you are using get method, you will see some data in your URL. Okay. Let's say now this is my login form, correct? It has to be very much secured. Yes or no? Login form should be secured, correct? Do you agree? Okay. Now here, one more thing I will tell you. See, here we have something called as submit, right? Here we have something called as submit, correct? Instead of submit, I want to make it login. Then what I can do is, after this type here, the type submit, I will type here value. Okay. I can change whatever the value is there here. Here there is value something called as submit. Some text is there, right? That I want to change. I will say login. Okay. Let's say login. I will come here and reload. See, I changed the text, whatever was there, I changed it to login. I can just put something called as value. These are all HTML things, guys. Okay. So I hope all of you have learned some basics about HTML forms previously. Okay. If not, then you can figure it out here. Okay. So this is our login form. Okay. What I want to do is I will just say something. Okay. One username I gave, and I will give one password. Okay. I'll give a password. Now you see, because what I have done here, I have given type equal to password. Okay, this input type equal to password. Because of that, it is giving me like this dot 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 dot. Okay. Now if I log in, what will happen, guys? You tell me. See, whenever you log in into any of the system, any app, if you log in, what happens? It is directly going to redirect you somewhere, correct? Without, you will not even see anything in your URL, correct? But here our form is using get method, correct? Our form here is using a get method. So if I click on login, what will happen? You can see here now. See, it is giving me username and also it is giving me password. Yes or no? It is giving me all these things. Is it safe? Is it safe? No, right? It is not safe at all. So whenever we want to use search functionality. Now, for a search functionality, whatever you search, does it need to be secured? Your search functionality, whatever you search in on internet or in any app, does it need to be secured? No, right? It does not need to be secured. So here is something which I wanted to show. Uh, Amazon. Let's see. Okay. Now see, when it comes to searching something, it does not need to be secured. Okay, that's why it gives us whatever we search, it is going to give. Okay, but what if I try to log in? Okay, what if I try to log in? Okay, whose number is this? Okay, let's say if I try to sign in, just look at the URL. Okay, just look at the URL. If I try to sign in, okay, now can you see any data here? Forget about this. This is something called as token. Okay, this is something called as token. But can you see something called as like my email equal to some email and my password equal to password? Can you see that? No, right? So basically we cannot see. So you can know that here some this is used. What do you call it? Post method is used here. Okay, so we can say that some post method is used here. Even if I type here something, let's say, let me get that token. Okay, if I type this, let's say, okay, if I try to submit this, that is different, Salman. This data is different. This data is about your verification code. Okay, so if you are trying to verify yourself, then there is something called as tokens. This is a token, this is not a data. But do you see something like question mark here? Do you see not this question mark, but do you see like question mark username or email? Have you seen? No, because my process is not completed yet. See, if I submit the code, then I will see. Okay, my account is already closed, so I don't have any other accounts which I can show you. Where should I sign in? I don't know, Mukant. Are you asking that? Okay, we'll do that. KFC. Let us try to sign in KFC. Here also a lot. Okay. In big websites, you will see all these things. Okay. You will see all these things, but Is it showing anything after submitting? Is it showing anything to me? No, right? Everything just vanished. So otherwise it should have shown me like the code which I got, my phone number, it took my name also, and as well as my email ID also it took, right? It could have shown me, but it is not, because here the post method is used. When do we use post method? Whenever we want to submit the data in our backend. When it comes to search functionalities, we are not submitting this data into our backend. Technically, we are not storing this data. Correct. We are not storing all this data into our backend. We are just, for a temporary purpose, we are searching it. At that time, we can use get request. Okay. And whenever we use get request, you are going to see your data like this. Okay. But when it comes to submitting some forms, submitting your login form, signing form, or some other any form you see, which is going to be stored in the database, which needs some security, which needs to be passed to the backend without penetration, any penetration attack. Okay, any attack from the hackers or someone. At that time, we are going to use the post method. Just by using post method, it is not that secured, obviously, but still, it is much more secure than the get request or the get method. Are you guys understanding the difference between get and post? Both will submit the data to the backend. Okay, both will submit the data to your backend code. But when the submitted data needs to be stored in the database, that time we are going to secure it by using the post method. But if based on what data is submitted, you want some output, okay, like search functionality, you want some output there itself, then at that time we have to use get method. Understanding this? Yes or no? Did you guys understood what I told you now? Get method and post method. Yes, correct. What about rest of the or rest of you? You didn't understood with this much of examples. Even kids can understand this. Then speak up. No, if you understood, then speak up. What is there to just type yes? Got it. Okay. Okay, good. Now I told you that form by default uses what type of method? Form will use what type of method by default? Get method. Correct? It is going to use get method. How we are going to make use of post method now? Okay, forget about using get method. Okay, no. We'll work on get method itself first. Okay, we are going to submit the data into our backend. Okay, we are going to submit the data into our backend. And how we are going to do that? Okay, how we are going to do that? That is the question here. Fine. See, as soon as you submit the data, okay, let's say I pass something. Okay, everyone pay attention here. This is very, very important. If I pass some data, okay, if I log in, that means this is what? This is a request. Yes or no? Guys, this is a request or not? Yes, correct. This is a request, some type of request. That means, do you agree that this much of the data will be stored somewhere in that request dictionary, which is taken by default by each and every view. Do you agree? Yes or no? Do you agree, right? That this data will be somewhere stored in that dictionary. Correct? So what we are going to do is, see, I told you that this request is a dictionary, right? Request is a dictionary. So whenever I am submitting something, whenever I am submitting some data, we will check. Okay? We are going to check. We will directly print request. If I print request, it will not give you. I will make use of something called as dict. Okay? Since request is a dictionary, it is going to print me entire dictionary. Okay, don't worry about what is this dict and all. Okay, it's just kind of a magic method, you can say. Okay, now you guys tell me, whenever I am submitting this data, okay, see, I'll tell you the flow. Okay, the learn understanding this flow is very, very important. Okay, everyone pay attention. Okay, do not see this now. Okay, I'll just do this. Now understand this, that whenever I go to form/info, I have taught you URL routing, how this URL works the best way possible. So listen now. Okay, I hope you will not make any mistakes here. So first I am searching for this route, correct? I'm searching for this route form/info. So obviously first it is going to come to my project URL. It will search for form. Okay, form is there. Afterward, it will say slash, and where it what we are searching? We are searching for info. Correct? Okay. As soon as it gets info, it is going to run what? It is going to run this view. It is going to go to this view, student info. It is going to go to this view and it is going to return render me this particular template. Done. Yes or no? One request and response, one model is done. Correct? Yes or no, guys? As soon as you get some response, that means that connection is broken. I hope you guys must have learned this, that whenever we send a request to a server will process this request and send it back to the client or a user. And as soon as the user sends, like receives the response, one connection is completed. Okay, one circle or one loop is completed, okay, of request and response. Now as soon as I hit this URL, as soon as I hit this URL, I will get this response. That means one circle is completed. Yes or no? One of the circle is completed. One request and response model has completed. Now, whenever I am typing something, okay, whenever I am typing something and whenever I click on login, that means we are again requesting, correct? That means we are again requesting, and we are requesting to what? To whatever the route we are currently. Okay, everyone pay attention. This is very serious. So whatever the route we are currently on, if I am at this route, okay, just not even consider. Let's say I am on this route called as form/info, and being on this route, I am on this route, and from here I submit something, whether it is a get method or post method, we are not bothered about it. Whether if I submit something, some form, if I submit, In which view do you think it is going to go? In which view this data will be submitted, this data will be received? In which views request this data is going to get received? If I click on login, what do you think? What do you think? In which view this data you will get? See the view. This view, or we have to create another view now? Tell me. Is it going to be in this view or another view? Not new view. So this data, whatever we are sending, okay, I told you that question mark is kind of a separator for the data which you are passing. Okay, question mark is kind of a separator to whatever you are submitting through a form. Okay, but your route remains the same. What is your route? Before question mark, what is there? The important thing you have to see is the thing which is there written before question mark. What is there before question mark? This is our forget about question mark. See, before question mark, we always have the route. We have the data that we are trying to submit. Okay. See, I'll just show you here. See, we have this question mark, correct? Whenever you see the question mark, see whatever is there before question mark. On the left side of the question mark, what is there? You will see the actual domain name. Okay. Okay, you will see your domain slash route to something like this. Okay. So you can say that before question mark, you have your actual URL, we will call. Okay. You have your actual URL. And after question mark, you will have the data which you are passing. Okay. Correct. Yes. Basically, this question mark indicates the start of the query. That also you can put it in that way also. Not a problem. Are you still getting confused, guys? See, before question mark, you have your actual route. After question mark, you will see the data or the token or many more things are there. Confused with this question mark. It is there by default in every browser you will see. Okay. Before question mark, there is your actual route. Okay. Whatever the function you want to call, that route you have. After the question mark you have is the data which you are trying to submit to your backend or which you are trying to query. Okay. That data. Fine. So do not get confused. Now here you tell me before the question mark, which is at the left side of the question mark, what do we have? We have our actual this URL, correct? Our main URL we have for which we are going to run one view or a function. And the data after this question mark will be submitted to this particular route view. Understood? The data which is there at the right side of the question mark will be submitted to the view which is going to run at this particular route. Is that clear, everyone? Is it absolutely clear to each and every one of you? Yes or no? So do not get confused. Okay. So if you are getting confused at okay where this data is going to submit, just look at this route before the question mark. And you already know at this particular route which view function is getting run. this student info function or a view is running, correct? So you already know that whenever either you click on this login, as soon as you click on this login, this student info function will run. And how do I know that? We will check. I will say, hey, I am running. Okay, I am running. I mean, it is going to run as soon as I reload it also. See, if we reload it, what will happen? If I go to this info, this hey, I am running also will run. Correct? See, it is running. If I reload it, it will run again. But what if I click on login? Tell me. If I click on login also, the same function will run, correct? Yes or no? Do you agree? The same function will run. Let us try it. Okay. We are not bothered about what we are passing here. Okay. If I click on login, we are still going to go to the same function and it will run the same function, which is telling, hey, I am running. Okay. Login. See, again it ran, correct? And here what we are getting, we request itself. Sorry, here. This is also a get request. If I click on food, if I click on food, it is going to render me this food. This is also a get request, correct? If I go back now, if I go back again, get request. So you know that by default, this everything here is a get request, correct? That is why we have to check. That we are going to see when we move on for the post request. Okay, is that fine? Now you understood that everything is a get request. I'll say form slash info. See, if I go to this route also, it is a get request, and what it is doing, it is telling me, hey, I am running. Okay, now you see, if I do something and if I try to log in, okay, as soon as I try to log in, this is a get request, correct? It's a get request. So see, it is going to run the same function and the method is get method. Okay, and here also it is going to show us all these things. So understood up till here? Yes? Yes or no? Okay. Okay, fine. Now what we are going to do is, I told you that if it is a get request and this somehow the request which we have here, okay, this request is going to contain this data. Yes or no? This username and password, it is going to contain this data somehow. Okay, that we are going to try and get it. Okay, I will say, how do I get it? I will say request. Okay, we know that request is a dictionary, correct? We know that dictionary, the request is some kind of dictionary. But if I want to see this dictionary, I have to type request dot underscore underscore dict underscore underscore. Okay, if I want to see this dictionary, I have to type underscore underscore dict underscore underscore. Okay, now before even I type anything, before even I submit anything, any detail, I want to I want to see how this request dictionary looks like. Are you guys also excited to see how this request dictionary actually looks like? Yes, you want to see how this request actually looks like, how big it is. See, I'll go to this route. Okay, I'll hit enter. As soon as I hit enter, you see, this is the entire request. This is what is there in this entire request. Okay, can you find out anything from this? It is this big. Yeah. So I told you that this request contains each and every data about everything. Okay. Here you see it is containing all the data. Correct? It is containing the entire data. It is containing here WSGI request. Okay, saying it's a get request. Correct? We have passed one get request where we are getting this slash form slash info. Correct? Yes or no? And many things are there. You can read. See here it is giving us what type of method we are using. What type of method we are using now? Get method. Correct? We are using get method, which is by default method. Okay, this get method is a by default method, so we don't have to worry about it. So this is giving us get method. Then it is giving us content params. Do we have any content params or not? What type of content are we searching on this uh, that we are getting? It is a text type. Okay, some messages, then CSRF token processing, do we have or not? All these things you can see. Okay, understood? Now what if we try to pass some data here? Okay, we will search here. Fine, we will type some data. We'll type some good data so that we can actually make out this data. Okay, that we are passing. We'll pass Santosh. Okay, we'll say Sun 1 2 3 4. Okay, okay, as soon as I log in, what will happen? Basically this route will hit. Correct? If this route hits means, that means my student info function is going to run. And whenever I print the request, I'm printing the request, right? That entire request dictionary. That means somewhere or somehow that dictionary is going to have one key value pair where this data will be stored. Correct? Yes or no? Dictionary contains many dictionaries. This request is a dictionary itself which contains a lot of dictionaries inside it. Okay, nested dictionaries we have. So obviously there will be somewhere that this data will be stored. Do you agree? Yes or no? So we will search for this data. Okay, so we will search. See, somewhere it needs to be there. um Here you see, here we are getting, right? Yes or no? We are getting get, and this data is also being stored here. Correct? Actually there is something called as get also. Something method get. So get, we have one key called as get here. Okay, we'll try to print this get. Okay, everyone pay attention. See, we have one request equal to WSGI request. Okay, and here what I'm doing, we have one request called as get request. Okay, so basically this get request is also having some data. Okay, now instead of printing request dot dictionary, if I want to print whatever is there in my get request, what will I do? I will do request dot get, and that get was in capital letter, right? Everyone pay attention. Okay, are you guys understanding what I'm doing? There is one key called as get inside that entire request dictionary. There is one key called as get. Only that I am searching. Okay, if I hit here, let's say, first if I hit here, what is happening? It is giving me what? It is giving me one query dictionary, correct? One query dictionary it is giving me, saying what? One empty dictionary it is giving, yes or no? It is at this particular request.get, I am getting one more dictionary, and it is saying this dictionary is empty because we are not submitting any data. We have just hit the URL, correct? We are not submitting any data, yes or no? But what if I submit something? Let's say I submit Mohan, and I'll say 1 2 3 4. As soon as I log in, what will happen, guys? We will get some data here, correct? Now afterwards, this request handles this data by making this username as key and this as value. Similarly, password as key and the actual password which is entered as a value. Now if I come back, you will see. Can you see this data? Query dict. We are having username and Mohan and one password M1234. Understood? Somehow we got it right. Somehow we were successful in getting to know where our data is stored. It is stored in request.get, correct? Yes or no? It was stored in this dictionary. Request.get is what? Request itself is a dictionary. When I say request.get, this is also a dictionary, correct? Forget about this query dict and all. Forget about that query dict. Also forget about this list. Forget about this list. Okay. Now what if I want to print Mohan? You guys tell me, what if I want to print Mohan? What will I do? You tell me, what if I want to print Mohan? How will I do it? Request.get, I got this entire dictionary. Okay, let us try to do that syntax. Okay, we'll say dot username. Okay, try to do username. Say I'll do reload. Okay, what it is giving me? It is saying query dict has no attribute username, correct? It is giving me right that query dict has no attribute username. Yes, please.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, guys. This is Pushpa from announcement team.
This get request is different. That is the get method which we used to use for getting the data. That is different. Okay, this get method is different. Since get is dictionary, what if I try to use this dictionary here? I say username. Okay, I'll say some dictionary syntax only because this is Python, no? This is Python. So we'll just try to do this. And this is a dictionary. We are writing in our Python code itself, right? So we will say request.get of username. Fine. What I will do, it is here. We'll go back. Okay. I'll just log in again. Okay. If I click on login, we are submitting this information. Correct. And am I getting Mohan now? Am I getting it here? Yes or no? Correct? I'm getting it right. What if I want to do password also? We'll do that also. We'll say password. Okay. I say request.get of password. Okay. I'll just reload it again. See, I'm getting both of them. Mohan and M1234. Understood? Get request. Get request is completely understood? Yes or no? Okay. Is there any doubt, like at any place you felt like you didn't understood or something like that? Like everything is clear, right? How this get method works and all, how you can get the data, like whatever you submit, how you can get, how you can, whatever the submitted data is there, how you can get this data from the request. Okay, is basically like this. If it is a get method, then you have to use get here. Okay, you cannot use post and all. If it is a get method, you have to use get. Request is a dictionary which is going to store all the information about whatever from wherever the request is coming. Taking that as an advantage, we can fetch this data. Okay, we can fetch this data. Understood? So you guys start implementing forms just for a get request. Start it. Implement forms.